Hello students. So let's do the next problem. Question says, which of the following expressions shows 2x squared minus 7x minus 4 in factor form? In other words, they want to find out which of the following expressions, in other words, A, B, C, or D, which one is the one that matches 2x squared minus 7x minus 4? And it says factor, because yes, we're looking for factors, right? Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to write down my standard form, right? So let's write down ax squared plus bx plus c. This just to help me find out who is going to be A, B, and C. So if you notice right now, A is right below the number 2, right? Therefore, A is 2. B is right below who? Negative 7. So I'm going to write down a negative 7 here. And C is right below who? Negative 4. You're right. Okay? So I'm going to write down negative 4 right here. Okay? So let's just go ahead and make sure that we know my colors for each one of them. So A is 2, B is negative 7, and C is negative 4. Okay? So what are we going to do next? Well, we need to draw the X and the tables. So let's draw that. Let me give you a couple of seconds for you guys to do it as well. Okay, so let's move on to the X. So like always, I need to find the product of A and C, which is a negative 8. Then opposite of that, always goes my value for the B, which is a negative 7. In the lower sections, we have A, which is a 2. So let's write the 2's. And finally, I need to find the value that goes on the empty spaces, right? So let's move on to the table. So I do know that I need to find the product of 8, and I need to find the sum of negative 7. So let's write down the words sum and product. Sorry for the word, but it's kind of small. I kind of squeeze it in there, right? It's okay. So let's start with the first factor. Now, since I need a negative 8, I know one of my factors needs to be negative. So I'm going to start with negative 1 and 8. And of course, I do get a negative 8. Then I'm going to change my 8 to a negative 8 because that will still give me a negative 8. Who's next? After the 1 comes a 2. So 2, but in this case, I'm going to start with a negative 2. Times 4 gives me a negative 8, which is what I need. And then the 2 is positive and the 4 is negative. And I still get a negative 8. So far, so good, right? Okay, let's move on to the sum. So now I need to add my factors, which is negative 1 plus 8. And I get a positive 7. Oh man, I thought that was going to be it, right? Nope. It's a positive 7. I need a negative 7. Let's move to the next one. Now, what happened here when you have a positive 1 plus a negative 8? Yes, you do get a negative 7. What do we say right now? Bingo, right? Yes. These are the numbers that I was looking for. I wanted a negative 8 with a negative 7. Now, since I want to make sure that you guys don't overlook at the rest of the questions, we're going to do the last factors. So now the next one will be negative 8 plus 4 gives me a positive 2. And then 2 plus a negative 4 gives me a negative 2. So if you notice, I got 2 and negative 2, which is not what I was looking for. So I confirm that my two factors will be right here. Yes, a positive 1 and a negative 8. So let's write down my factors, right? So my first one, I'm going to put it on the left side, and negative 8 goes on the right. Okay, can I simplify anything? Think about that as a 1/2. Well, 1 over 2 cannot be simplified, but 8 over 2 does, right? So I'm going to simplify this by dividing it by 2. And 8 divided by 2 is a 4, right? But since 8 is negative, it's actually a negative 4. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So now let's place the x where it belongs. We always write it with a coefficient. And now I know that these will be my factors. Notice how I'm going to highlight not the first negative 8 and 2, but my second one. So let's write down my factors here. So one of my factors will be 2x plus 1. Second factor will be 1x minus 4. I'm going to rewrite it because I do see a 1 as a coefficient, and normally we do not need it. So my answers will be 2x plus 1 and x minus 4. These are my factors. Yes. So look at the answer choices. See if we have anything that looks like that. Okay? So the answer for this, did you find it? Exactly like that, right? So my answer would be letter B. You're so right.